Welcome back to Victini News. This is your host, Cuban. We are now in week 6, and there's only 3 matches left. Every single match counts. Win, and you get closer to playoffs. Lose, and you might not make it. Out of all the teams, Legendary Landerers with Grandmaster Cake are looking like to be the first safe playoff coach, as he is still undefeated. But speaking of undefeated, let's look at the Week 5 results. And as I just mentioned, the Legendary Landerers are still undefeated, taking a 5-0 victory against the New York Low Kicks. But if you ask me, the scoreline really doesn't tell the whole story. Both coaches prepared very well against each other and brought answers to every single one of the other's tactic. But thanks to the bulk on Cake's team, he managed to slowly win trades and then win the fight, taking the 5-0 victory here. In our second match, we have Dunsparce United against the Fighting Lando Tees. And if we have to be honest, this match was over after turn 1. Mega Gardevoir wins the speed tie, but misses Thunderwave, only for Chi-Yu to click Overheat, getting a one-hit KO on Gardevoir. With Chi-Yu being the fastest mon in the fight, he managed to get another kill with Psychic on Toxapex, and then he killed Mandibuzz. He got rid of every single wall from Red Sox Alex's team, and in the end got 4 kills and put the 5th mon, the Great Tusk, to 15% HP. Then it was just easy picking for Mega Pinsir, who came in and cleaned up for the 5-0 victory for Effimaster and the Dunsparce United. Looking at our next match, the Scarlet Knights against Oslo Okodogis. We saw just how good Unaware can be. As the Clefable first took a Fiery Dance from Volcarona that looked to be a high roll, that even the special attack boost, but then it got a low roll, like a very low roll, where thanks to that the Clefable survived and got the Paralyze off on the Volcarona. Thanks to this paralyzation, the Clefable managed to just heal up again and stay alive, which caused the Volcarona to switch out. During the match, it even managed to paralyze the Mega Mawile from the Scarlet Knights as well, basically handicapping both massive sweepers or damage dealers from the Scarlet Knights team. Thanks to this, and Landorus taking down 2 Pokemons before getting defeated, Viking managed to take a very solid 5-0 victory against Pandemonium and the Scarlet Knights. Continuing down the line, we have the Tennessee Titans against the ABBs. Both teams desperately looking for a win. And, well, it was a very offensive match. Both teams really did not rely on defense, just pure offense. Early on, Chomama got a very good lead, with Tapu Koko coming up and taunting the Rabombi to stop webs. They traded Nihilego for Celestia, and then at one point the webs got up, but then Rabombi lost its life. Aegislash manages to win a 1v1 against Iron Threads by using Close Combat and Shadow Sneak, and Meowscarada using Protect Protein every time to come in for what I would assume getting rid of the grass typing against Mamoswine. In the end, Meowscarada even killed Mamoswine, but it was too heavily damaged by that point, and the Hydrapple managed to finish off the Meowscarada and give Glitchy Mix his first win with a 1-0 victory for the ABBs. Continuing, we have the Hyderabad Hunchcrows against the Carolina Incineroars. And here we saw Arson going back to his controlled playstyle. Using Zapdos, Venusaur, and Licky Licky, he slowly but surely defeated every single one of Drakeon's Pokémons by switching around, giving him no chance to even deal any damage. Mimikyu looked like to being an answer for Drakeon against this team thanks to Taunt, but even that fell after losing over 50% of its HP while still being disguised. Overall, this was a slow match, but it was a controlled 5-0 victory for the Hyderabad Honchkrows against the Carolina Incineroars. In our second to last match, we had the Lively Town Licky Licky taking on the Boom Burst Backgammon. Early on in the match, the Lively Town Licky Licky Slowking Galar set up T-Spikes. And during the match, the Rotom and the Mega Scizor, both who could have had Defog on Alicatex's team, fell without managing to click the button, making sure that the T-Spikes stay until the end of the match, poisoning the whole team. Roaring Moon managed to set up and even got 2 kills, but then it was forced to switch out, and with the poison damage, Iron Jugulus swept 4 Pokémons at the end, giving Bang the 3-0 victory. And our final match of the week. It's match of the week. It's Admiral with his Snap Squad taking on Supreme Omega with the New York Hydreigons. And as Supreme said it in the pre-chat, he was really doubting himself about this match. But I can tell you guys, this was a close one. Early on in the match, we saw Gliscor getting traded for Raikou, taking out one big puzzle piece from Admiral's team. During the match, Victini and Haxorus consistently came in to chip away on the HP from Admiral's defensive core. And that led to Screamtail being traded for Arcanine. With Arcanine and Raikou dead, it was all left on Qianpao and the defensive core of Admiral's team. Thanks to a lucky knockoff crit from Quavel from Supreme Omega, he managed to defeat the Slowking, and the Mega Aggron that got killed by Haxorus, also being, dead, left Admiral with his defensive core also broken. And at this point you might think, wow, Supreme might make it. But then Qianpao is on the board. And Qianpao did not go without a fight, clawing the way back to a 1v1 against Haxorus. But thanks to Haxorus having first impression and Qianpao not having Protect, it turned into a 1-0 victory for Supreme Omega and the New York Hydreigons. This match was a real nail-biter. What did it do to the ranking? Well, looking at the ranking, we have Grandmaster Cake, still undefeated with a 5-0 scoreline and plus 25 differential. If this guy does not make playoffs, then you can call me Sally. Second place is currently being kept by Effie Master with solid 4-1 scoreline and a plus 13, being followed by Arson, who is just 1 differential behind him, and Supreme Omega taking 4th spot, being the last person with a 4-1 scoreline. And then, there's a lot of 3s and a lot of 2s, all the way from 5 to 14. Only 1 game apiece for every single one of those coaches. And our final 2 places being left with Glitchy Mix with a 1-4 and Jomama with a 0-5. Jomama looks like to be the first person to have to say goodbye in the playoff race, as 3-5 usually doesn't make it to playoffs. But I want to see Jomama do his best, and I believe that with his new team, that 0 will turn into a 1. Continuing, we have Nickname of the Week, Victini. And Favorite Set of the Week, we create Bolt Strike from Victini. You know, guys, Victini is just amazing but I can't just put Victini into everything just because it's Victini. Yeah, but in our next segment, Nickname of the Week. This week's winner is Glitchy Mix Nihilego with Nihil11. My fellow mods thought it was a very clever wordplay, as Nihilego is a very mysterious Pokemon that comes from a different world. Similar how 11 from Stranger Things could be seen as something strange and mysterious thanks to her psychokinetic powers. And if you combine that with the elegance and the recognizable status of the Porsche 911, this Pokemon truly gets an iconic and a superstar aura thanks to this name. For favorite set of the week, we have decided on Moltres, the Pokemon from Grandmaster Cake, once again proving why he's undefeated, using Power Up Solar Beam to take out the Rhyperior from CB Thrice. It was probably also there for the Seismic Toad, but that didn't come. But yeah, if I see Moltres, I'm thinking Boost, Flame Body, Defog, and U-Turn. Just comes in, takes a hit, and pivots out. But this Moltres was going in to do damage. The Solar Beam with Power Up, the Brave Bird, and the Flare Blitz. That's how you make a difference with an aggressive and offensive Moltres. Really a cool set, and well, guys, this guy can cook. Looking at our next week's schedule, we have Match of the Week. We have Legendary Landers against the Dunsparce United. I have to be honest, when we looked at the teams, Effie Master might be the final person who could put an end to this undefeated streak from Grandmaster Cake. Summer Center, Chiyu, Pinciomega, Latios, Basculician, all mons who could potentially come in and deal with this bulky team and might just end this undefeated streak. It's gonna be a very, very interesting match to watch. And hopefully, I'll be awake and able to see it live. Other than that, we have a showdown between the two New York teams. The New York Hydreigons against the New York Low-Kicks. Well, they don't have to travel far. They're in the same town. Who can take the top spot as the team from New York? Then we have the Ottawa Ordinaries taking on the Carolina Incineroars. The Ottawa Ordinaries now coming in here and trying to claw back what looked like a lost season, slowly but surely climbing up and trying to get that playoff spot. But the Carolina Incineroars are trying to do the same. Then we have the Fighting Lander T's taking on the Scarlet Knights. Both teams are at 2-3. Both teams won playoffs. There's nothing really more to say about it. These teams just want to win, and if they manage to beat the other one, that would be huge for their dreams of playoffs. Playoffs isn't a thing that the Tennessee Titans are probably going to look at anymore. They might try to get more kills in, but they can ruin Lively Town Licky Licky's dreams of playoffs this week by giving them a loss and maybe their first win. So, you better watch out. The Tennessee Titans are out to ruin your dreams. Looking a little bit further up the board, we have the Neb Squad taking on the Hyderabad Hunchcrows, a 4-1 team against a 3-2 team. Both teams have been looking insanely strong this season, and both are easily playoff, and maybe even final contenders. This might be just the first taste of playoffs for both of these teams. Then we have the Oregon State Badoos taking on the Oslo Okadogies. And, well, insert what I said against between the Fighting Lennetees and the Scarlet Knights, because both teams desperately want wins. But Viking is an advantage here, as he has 3 wins, and Green Purple Boy only has 2. So maybe Viking can edge out a little bit more on the standings and push Green Purple Boy below the top 8 spots. And our final match, the Boom Burst Backcommon against the ABEs. Both teams are closer to the bottom of the table, but one win can change everything. They're just one game apiece, with Glitchy Mix having 1 win and Alikalkos having 2 wins. This could be a do or die game for Glitchy Mix. As I said before, 5 losses is a thing you don't really want to hit. You want to hit the 5 on the wins, because in theory, 5 wins should secure you playoffs. We've only had one time, what I remember in the VDL, at least like from what I saw, where a team with 5-3 didn't make playoffs. So, reaching that number with a win is important for both teams, and getting away from that dreaded 5 on the defeat score. To make sure that this will happen, we had some trades. The Oregon State Badoos take out their Terra Captain in Porygon Sea and are grabbing Hooper Unbound, with their new Terra Captain being Kilowattrel. Well, we saw what Kilowattrel can do, and I think this Terra might just make it even more dangerous. Red Sox Alex decided that his first 2 picks, Spectria and Great Tusk, didn't do him justice. So he's switching them out for Garchomp and Darkrai. It's gonna be interesting if these 2 changes hit or miss. But these were the only 2 coaches to do changes. We have Austin, who got rid of Rampardos, which I don't think he has used this season, to get Lycanroc Midnight. And hey, maybe he's preparing something, needing that Lycanroc. While Viking took 4 changes, mixing up his team a little bit, getting rid of the Landorus Tarian as he saw that Great Tusk was dropped. He immediately swooped in and grabbed the Tusk, securing him a solid ground type. Then he I guess he didn't want to play X anymore, so he chose Y, changing the Mega Stone on his Charizard from X to Y, now running in with the Drought Charizard and getting rid of the Dragonfire Charizard. And perfectly with the Sun, he grabbed Walking Wake for Weavile. Honestly, when I typed in Weavile in transaction list, I don't think he has used Weavile in this match so far. Or at least it had no impact in any of Vikings games. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I must say Charizard Mega is not a good Sunsetter. It is a Sunsetter for himself. But if it dies and the sun is still up, Walking Wake can take advantage of that. And his final change, getting rid of Jellicent and grabbing Muck. Getting rid of a Ghost Water type to grab a Poison type. Muck, a very solid Pokemon. Jellicent has its strengths, but looking at his team, he might need that Poison type, as he actually didn't have any Poison types beforehand. So I think this was also a good change. I'm really curious how the team will do for Viking. It looks very strong on paper already, and these changes probably make it even stronger. So whoever you're playing next, better watch out.
Well. Look at bridge, you guys. Always thinking about poking and missing the true beauty of the world. Bridges, like the Tower Bridge in London, that combines a suspension bridge and a bus queue. That's a drawbridge. But don't mistake it for the London Bridge. They are not the same. That we have the Millau Viaduct in France, which opened in 2004, and it's the tallest bridge in the world, with 343 meters at the highest point. That's taller than the Eiffel Tower, and a true marvel of modern engineering. Across the pond, we have the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, which, when it was opened in 1937, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world, and thanks to its paint, it's protected from fog and corrosion, which you might think it was the longest suspension bridge. Well, there comes the Akashi Kaiko Bridge in Japan, known as the Pearl Bridge, which was completed in 1998 and is now the longest suspension bridge in the world, with a central span of 1,991 meters. You're thinking, why is this guy talking about bridges? Well, bridges symbolize connection and unity, linking people, places, and cultures. Similar to my family, my team, something that you coaches don't have. And that will be your downfall. This was Victini News. Thank you all for watching. And remember, bitches love bridges.